Hello, everyone, and Light, I'm not gonna make you wait that long. Hello. um, we are here today with what is the first episode, but it's covering the first 5 episodes of our campaign. Roll with it, behind the rolls. Hi, Light. How are you?
I am good. How about you?
Good, good. So, if you guys have tuned into our sessions, the first 5 already, you probably heard me mention that we wanted to do something a bit to like help you guys recap, and this is kind of what we came up with. Light and I are going to be talking every week after our sessions and kind of recapping, but also getting a bit like behind the scenes and seeing how like Light is feeling about everything, and if we like ruined her plans at all. But we, we're we're also not gonna try to get into anything too spoilery for future, like any questions or anything like that. But I know Light's not gonna give us anything. She does not give anything.
I like my secrets.
Yeah. But yeah, so behind the rolls, we're gonna do a lot of behind the scenes type of stuff, but also kind of recap what the episodes have been, so that anybody that can't watch the 4 hour plus sessions, they can get caught up with the story a bit faster if they want to tune in. Also, we'll ask questions and we'll have some of the players on and kind of do some interviews and stuff like that, so that you guys can get to know us behind our roles. um so Light, are you ready?
I think I am.
Yeah.
I had to
Well,
remember 5 episodes.
5 episodes.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
been quite a ride so far, like already.
Which I'm glad. I'm glad
Yeah.
that people are
And I
enjoying it.
think,
So,
yeah, I think we're definitely enjoying it. So it's been great. Um, we
all right.
Yeah.
I guess
So
we have to start
tell us a
episode
little bit
one.
about the world. Yeah, first to like get set up. What
Yeah, 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 yeah.
what made you want to do this world the way that you did it, and what's so special about it, and a little bit of story.
Did I lose you? Did I lose me?
Hmm?
All right. Episode 1. Did you name the episode? You named the episodes, right?
I've been kind of giving them like random ass names according to like what happened, but yeah,
What did you name the first episode?
I think just introductions, or I think I said something about the festival.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
Yeah, let's look it up. I can actually, let's see.
You can probably look up faster. Ah, yeah. Festival interrupted.
Yeah.
So let me see. The first episode, I had the. Oh, yeah. I introduced them to a dream. And then within this dream, um, it was quite interesting how I planned this. I actually planned the beginning, probably almost a year ago. Just having this, whoever was going to play my game, I was going to do this kind of dream sequence. And so basically, they were dragged in the middle of the night in a cart, and they can hear 2 voices. And as they kind of continue to go down, or in this cart, they can't move, they can't see, but of course they can hear the crickets and all that stuff, and they know it's nighttime. And then them being lifted, and then being lay down on some kind of slab, and a woman's voice basically kind of giving herself entitlement of um, the queen, or the elemental queen. And then something happened, as just to put it bluntly, their throats got slit, and then they begin to fall into darkness and kind of waking up and seeing each other, but not seeing them. It's more of like a shadow, or kind of like a fog, but they can see their eye color. And I believe they got to only see, they saw 9 or 10, which I have to look back on my notes, the different eye colors. And eventually they woke up and they were in the city of Feilu, which is a port town. And in this the first episode, they were going to a festival. It might have been 12. I mean, it's 12 total, but you did not see everybody's eyes. You didn't see like 2 or 3 of their eye colors. What was it? Trying to remember.
Then,
It's been a while.
yeah, after all this, we started meeting some of our characters,
Mhm.
which my character's name is Vorin, and he is a local resident to Feilu, along with Magpie. And yeah, so some of our characters were brought in by a common occurrence. What was there something specific that made you want to start off the season with basically combat?
um well, the one thing is, I've worked with some people before. I worked with Spelsy, um and Derpy and Neffy before, and I haven't worked with you and Sin and Nikki. I haven't Nikki is new to the game. We did do
Mhm.
like a little prior one shot, but um I wanted to basically show you guys anything can happen. To get in the fight, to get in something that, uh, trying to get used to your character, because when you make these characters, you don't really know what you really want with them. You have a background, but how do you act? Do you actually go by your notes, or do you go ahead and do something different? Just like any role play game, we always trying to feel our shoes, I guess you could say. And
Right.
to have a combat, especially with these fish people, which technically I think they're supposed to be a higher level, I had to nerf them down. And there's a reason behind my method to my madness. So as you guys are fighting and trying to get used to like what you can do, I thought it would be kind of a little fun and a little probably nerve-wracking for some, but I think you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the the adapting to the game is what DMs are all about, right? So it's like
Mm.
sometimes you plan something, it's like, oh, wait a minute, there might be too strong, or I or I need more enemies, which sometimes happens as well. But those kind of things are, they're pretty easy to pivot because stories can change quickly, and
Mhm.
nothing goes as planned in real life anyway.
Yeah, right. And um, speaking of strong monsters, their one shot that I did, because I also wanted them to get used to. I made a boo boo, um, and I supposed to do a young adult black dragon, and end up being an adult black dragon, and almost killing all the party right there and then. Oopsies.
Yeah, that was
That was fun.
that was that was rough, but I think
But yeah.
the way that you played out perfectly.
Mhm.
But so was there anything that, like, getting back to Failure and the way the world is, and like, were you inspired by anything? Like, did it something as simple as like a dream or just a story you wanted to tell? What exactly inspired the world as it is, without really getting into too much spoiler
It's
territory?
I will say this. And especially you could definitely you've been there. I get inspired by stories that I've actually played characters. Um so we might actually have to do an episode with the deities, but I have deities that I made up, and one of them you might hear, his name is Amaris. Amaris is the dark side of the moon, and Selene is the light side of the moon. Um, I don't think anybody out there has ever done anything like that, and I actually got inspired by a song. And so I created this character and I played Conan, RP'd it. But of course, bringing Amaris into a D&D campaign and making her and her sister deities, I changed it up a little bit. So the stories that I have told or telling is stories that I've kept to heart because I actually wanted to write books.
Mhm.
So you guys are getting the experience, or me just definitely storytelling, because sure, I can write a book or, try to write a book, but I still think it's kind of fun to actually now experience what I've been, no joke, probably 15 years worth of ideas.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, D&D or tabletop gaming or role playing, it always comes down to that, right? Like, we're trying to tell stories,
hmm
no matter what the medium might be or the format is, because we're storytellers. And so then, on that note, back to the story, we all met, and you mentioned these fish people that
hmm
uh none of us really know what they are, where they came from, or why. And that's part of the mystery that the whole gang is trying to solve. And in doing so, we've been kind of scrambling about. So let's go over some of the events that have happened since then. We met Celeste, which is one of the people that we recognize from the dreams. But Celeste is there's something special about her, right?
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a wee bit.
So what can you tell us about Celeste without getting too far ahead?
Let's see. I'm gonna say this. Can I say this without, because I know this might be brought up. Maybe I'll keep it. We'll see. We'll see how much I can say.
Yeah, just tell us what we've learned about her already.
Yes. So far, Celeste is a tiefling. I think I said she's like about 5'8", 5'9". She is like a light-skinned purple tiefling, with these gorgeous purple eyes that shine like stars. She has a dark purple horns, and they have like little trinkets and everything, and her hair is I think a light purple. Um, and then she wears like white and silver, like a dress, and she has this gorgeous staff that from the bottom you can see a dark wood, and then gradually gets from dark, like a black to gray to white to eventually on the very top like a clear, like a crystal ball. And she is currently carrying a huge egg, um, and it's wrapped in like a makeshift bag, which his bag is protected, which Victor used his wonderful magic to seeing how almost kind of like blind him a little bit. Um, and it was very interesting when she introduced herself to everybody and basically asking questions. And the question is like, what's in the bag? And she mentioned that it's a very rare dragon egg, which is actually an amethyst dragon egg. And to actually say those words out loud to the group, and even there was a joke here and there. It was like, well, I could sell that. I think Warren, you made that joke, or no, you made that joke as
Yeah.
Warren.
I mean, he said that it could be worth a pretty penny. He didn't say anything about trying to sell it.
If that's OC, just kidding, just kidding. But what's also unique is that she does have freckles, and they are like silver freckles. So in the moonlight, they do kind of sparkle. So she has like across her, face and on her shoulders. And she has. There's the group has asked her questions, and she's answered them. And let's see, was it probably gone into like second episode
Yeah.
learning more
Well,
about her.
she's been pretty truthful for the most part, or that we know.
Hmm.
um, but I think we she's very reserved in a lot of ways, whether it's like emotionally or personal or personality. But I think she's trying to give as much as she can without feeling overexposed, and I really liked her character a lot. But like, she's in trouble now, getting ahead a little bit. She's in trouble now, but before before we get there, um there's just been a couple of things that the gang has gone through to, like, what, to earn money. um
Jobs.
we Yeah, just a couple of jobs. Victor's freaking out because he's been cut off from his money.
Hmm.
And but before that, we also met this this group of collectors, in a way that we all know that is on the search for Celeste. So like, there's a lot of these story elements or story beats that are kind of circling Celeste in a lot of ways, and it's kind of falling onto us to like keep her safe in a way, because we know we're connected to her, but we don't know how. So I think
Hmm.
it's kind of interesting how that's the driving force to the story. The fact that all this shit is happening to you, we could just let it happen to you, but there's a reason that we're together and we don't know why, and that's scary.
Oh yeah, for sure. The collective are um, basically the group is called is the collective. Um, they are a collector of rare items, artifacts, and their symbol is a treasure chest with a beholder in the background, basically. Um, and what between like the group, well, Victor has asked questions and Warren has asked questions, but separate people talking. And basically, like, the collective will hire people to find certain things, if it's through thieves guilds, or whatever guilds, ventures guilds, um you name it, to find certain things, um and maybe even the monster guild, wink wink. um but because they collect these things, which we all know out there, wizards and sorcerers and even higher ups and low people and all that stuff, they do collect. If they find a rare item, they collect it, they get it.
Right.
But these people are collecting rare items. um so it's quite interesting on on what they're doing, especially with Warren's character finding out that um these particular people, we'll hire. And they don't want to get their hands dirty, but they will allow other people get their hands dirty.
Yeah,
So,
and part of the most recent episode, which was yesterday, it freaked out Voren to hear that she had a price on her head because of, you know, exposing a little bit of my character's story. Is he's been on the tail end of those offers before. He's been paid to do certain things, you know, and he knows that people like him. It was kind of a self-reflection. Is like, she's in danger, and I know she's in danger because of people like me, you know.
mhm.
I was willing to take up a contract back in the day, so I know others will, and it's it kind of sent him into a panic and trying to find a quick solution. But before getting to that, there's been instances where we've gotten a bit of like character development between each other. We've gotten to know hi Pop Tarts, by the way. We've gotten
Hello.
to know each other in different circumstances and in different type of pressures. Like we saw how Victor is in front of nobles. We saw how Victor is entitled in front of like lowborn or common folk. We've seen different sides of Victor, and we don't really know what's an act and what's not. But he's kind of putting it all on the table as far as we know. Voren, my character, is very reserved in a lot of ways. As much as he likes information, he doesn't like to give information. But there's probably a couple of people that have heard a thing or two about him. And I like in that some of the episodes, while there's been things like, for example, we went out to cut logs just for gold, right? But it gave us an opportunity, like something as simple as that gave us an opportunity to work together as a team outside of combat and get to know what some of our strengths and weaknesses are as far as like what we can do. And not just that, but out there living in like tents or whatever, we also get to know certain things about each other. Like, for example, like Magpie and how much contrast her character has with the rest of us. And there's, I think that it's been very interesting to go through these, let's say, situations. Like, for example, fighting the goblins. I think that was what, episode 2 or 3.
I think that was 3.
And yeah, it was 3. That I
Yeah.
labeled rat catchers. Episode 3, we went to apparently make some gold by catching rats, but it ended up being goblins in a cellar, and
Mhm.
that was an interesting situation, because when you think about some of the little things that you could just explain to it as, yeah, we went to fight goblins, but there's so much more that happened, and it was like exposition to Voren, and why did Voren react that way to a certain, like, you know, item or whatever. And then you have things like Celeste, like walking out of the tent when she was uncomfortable with the carnival, which was last
Yes.
episode as well. It's like, why, you know? So like, if you're paying attention to certain characters, you can start to pick apart some of the things that they're doing and wonder why, you know, like Magpie, like she's uncomfortable with people, and that's understandable. But like, one thing over the table that I'm always wondering is like, okay, she says that she doesn't have like an abundance of food, and she's always been it's always been hard for her to, you know, like get food without stealing and stuff like that. But then when there is food readily available for her, she doesn't go for it. So that type of thing is like, why, you know? So
Mhm.
that's one of those actions that it's like you learn from people based on what they do and what they don't do. You just gotta watch. And even when I don't say anything in character or whatever, like Vorin is just absorbing information like with everything that he sees.
Mhm.
So it's been fun. But is there, and so before we get into like an update to where we are in the story,
Mhm.
I want to ask you a couple of questions.
A couple of questions. Okay, am I ready?
So
No.
these are questions that I'm probably going to be asking you as we go through like week to week.
That's fine.
And they're going to be kind of random, but I'll adapt them for episode 1 through 5 as it is now. So I have a couple of like different categories, like session recaps or like behind the scenes or DM insights, you know. So
Mhm.
so we'll see. As far as session recap, one of the questions that I have is, what was the most unexpected player decision that you've experienced so far?
Oh, okay. Actually, I think it's been smooth because you guys have been playing your characters. Now I mentioned earlier in our I have a Discord. Or no, I mentioned on your stream, I thought there was gonna be a little PvP last night. Just a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, a
And
little.
but there was also before that, I Victor has mentioned like to go kill Kristoff, which he's the one that's seeking out Celeste.
Mhm.
He's from the
Which we
collective.
learned in last episode.
Correct. And I was holding my breath because all I can think is this might
We're
be
not ready for this fight. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes. Whew. But Nyx had spoken up about, not fighting because of his background, his story. Minerva, who plays by Nikki, has also
Mhm.
spoken up. Everybody kind of had their little
Hey, Neffy.
little say in it. And but at the same time, I really thought there was going to be some PvP.
Yeah, no, it was good. There's been player conflict all throughout, and it's mostly revolved around Victor.
Yes, it's funny because I was thinking, because I was going to write it actually in our general chat. I was like, oh, PvP, Victor versus Nyx, or Victor versus Magpie.
Yeah.
But it's
like,
cool.
when you think about it naturally, though,
Mhm.
it's bound to happen. You have 6 people that 6 or 7 that are from different backgrounds, different personalities, different like lifestyles. So clashing is bound to happen. I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is, it is episode 5, and if you think about
Right.
it, there are technically 1 lord and 2 ladies. Celeste's a
Mhm.
lady. Celeste's character is a lady, and then you got Sin, who plays Victor, is a lord. And
Yeah.
so it's quite interesting, especially how well, we got the pedigree paper going on with Victor. Sin is playing his part.
Sin
He's
is
actually,
doing so good.
yes.
But Sin always plays this type of character perfectly.
Mhm.
He's so good at the conflict RP without doing anything like bad.
Hmm.
but still kind of rubbing people the wrong way. Um, it's one of the things that I love about Sin. I actually played a vampire character along with Sin on a Conan server, and he almost got us killed just because of the way he was. He wasn't hurting anybody, but just because of the way he was.
Hmm.
And he's great. Sin's such a good RPer.
And it's
Um,
true. What Spelsy says: Victor, old money versus Euphemia, new money.
Yeah, so
I
yeah,
know.
it's still,
Mhm.
even among the lords and ladies, it's still different lifestyles.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you got and with Celeste, who of course I voice her and play her, but I also make sure that you all have your, I mean, your time. Celeste, if you guys want to ask her questions, feel free to ask her questions. Take part, whatever you want to do. Celeste has been by herself since she was 10 years old.
Hmm.
And it's like going from to place over from being 10 years old and she's like 22. So like 12 years being on her own, carrying this egg for I think I said about 10 years for the egg, or 9, somewhere around there. And then meeting people, and then that trust. And then Victor kind of tore that down
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Victor, Boren.
Yeah, so it's
It's
just
yeah,
it's interesting how that happens too. So,
yeah. It's been really interesting. I think that, like, just looking at the way that the characters are, and I made a point of this when we just kind of hung out after the session and talked, even like among the rogues, how different we are. And like technically we kind of have the same profession, but we don't, like, not at all. Like,
mhm.
we are not the same type of rogues. And it's just kind of interesting to see, because when you think about like putting together a campaign or whatever, like one of my fears was like, oh, if like I one of my fears was having two bards or two rogues or two whatever, that uh our RP or our way of doing things would be very similar. But then it's so refreshing to see Neffy playing her rogue so differently than mine. It's it just comes to show you how, as long as you RP your character, your class is kind of secondary.
Mhm. And I would
But
say this: if you guys are watching, watching the videos of the VODs, Neffy's playing her character to the T. Like, she could have changed her character, episode 2 or 3, but no. And I love it. I love that she's sticking to her guns.
yeah, I mean, and there's so much room for growth for all these characters that you don't want to like immediately just give in or change something about your character, because you've been when you think about outside the campaign, you've been your character all your life. Like,
Hmm.
that character has been a certain way for some reason all their lives. So you're not just going to change it after one session or two after meeting some strangers. So
Hmm.
I love that, like I said, that Neffy's character, Magpie, that there's such a strong contrast with the rest of us, because that's who she is, and that's actually how she feels too. Like, she feels like a stark contrast from the rest of us. So it's awesome that she plays it that way. And then Voren, a lot of the times, he's just kind of in the background blending, and just kind of letting things happen, because that is how he is. He's a blender. He's like he will hide and learn. That's
Hmm.
that's what he's there for.
For sure.
Um so some of the let me just read. I'm in a similar boat as Neffy, that I played one class and someone else wanted to play the same class. To a fair my Neffy.
Oh,
We got to give props to everybody. They've been doing really good.
oh yeah.
And I've been super happy with the RP. and there's so much room for all our characters to grow. We're gonna fight. We're gonna make up. We're gonna learn, or we're or we won't. But
Yeah.
that's life.
Mhm.
So, a couple more questions. What are some of the dynamics that that you're enjoying the most, like seeing?
Like with the everybody's characters,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm gonna say like recently Victor and Euphemia. Um, it that last episode, yo,
Yeah,
that was definitely interesting to see. I guess we can kind of talk about that, right? Talk about
yeah.
our the last. Okay,
I mean, definitely.
so
Yeah, we kind of went over some of the things that got us here so far.
mhm,
But now there's some big changes happening to all of our lives,
yes,
and we get to discuss it. So this was all episode 5,
mhm.
which was yesterday, and things are getting interesting.
Yes. I'll circle back on that. So, Victor and Euphemia. Um, I giggle at times to myself with the cat situation. Uh, y'all have not met all 12 cats, which is fabulous, but they are not going to be in these episodes for a while, I guess. But just the whole with Neffy and the cats are even boring with the cats, even though they have the cats have been there forever. So that cracks me up. Um, let's see. I guess uh that's so far. I mean, Nick's and his drinking habits.
Yeah,
First
everyone's got
episode.
their quirks.
Yeah, first
Listen, like
episode.
Voren appreciates the cats and what they do. He
Mhm.
just doesn't like them around him. Like, just go away. It's like,
But they
I know
help so
they
much.
do help. Yeah, they do help. But it's like they leave hair on Voren. They make a mess of things, and he doesn't like it. You know?
They're very clean cats. The only time they do that is because, guess what? You're mine. That's how cats do.
Yeah, yeah. They knock things over and cause chaos. Yeah, cats go against everything that Voren.
Yeah. And my real life cats never did that. Mine.
No. But they shed, and that's bad
can't
for
stand on
OCD.
It's fine. They're fine. And
They're fine. No, but he will like defend them even though he doesn't like them, because he knows they're useful for the guild, for everyone at the docks, for the entire town. Same could be said about dogs. Oh, for sure, my dog sheds a shitload.
Mhm.
So yeah, so getting a bit more into episode 5, so that we don't go for too long today. This episode, we learn some very interesting things about several of our characters.
Mhm.
I guess we don't learn about each other as much as OOC we do, which is just still fun to learn. In character, we still don't know a lot, but it gives us more to look forward to. But this is the first time that Voren has openly discussed the guild, and the first time that we meet Silvara, at least openly, and he did it out of concern, because as soon as he heard that there was a bounty, that meant trouble with him and his people. And that's a huge deal, because even though he didn't express it, getting on that ship, which was something that he's always kind of wanted to to travel and be bigger than what he was in that town, he's leaving his home. And something that he just didn't express or at least, like RP it at all was the fact that it's kind of sad. It's like bittersweet, right? Like he's never known anything other than these streets, these alleys that he feels at least that he has an advantage in, like a home field advantage. He knows where to go, he knows where to hide. Anything else now is new territory, and that's fucking scary.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then there's also Victor. Oh boy, Victor.
Mhm.
I can't say that I expected it, even though I made the joke that he had a very vampire-y vibe.
Mhm.
I didn't actually expect it until early this episode when I kind of started putting it all together. And this is me over the table. Like Voren, no fucking idea. Because I guess he just doesn't care enough to... I don't think Voren would really think of him that differently anyway, but we'll get there when we get there.
Mhm.
He is a Dampier, and Neffy accidentally, Magpie stole one of his vials of blood. So he was freaking out. And rightfully so, I guess, right? You're going to be in a ship
Oh
trapped
yeah.
with the crew, and you've never... I think the part that interests me the most about that story is the fact that you've never known hunger. And that's one of the things that I always like to... that I've role-played into one of my vampire characters before, is I like to play the spoiled brat, because that means everything outside of things being perfect is new. And right now, nothing is perfect for Victor. So as much as he's trying to keep this cool guy demeanor, this lord, he panicked, and that was crazy. That was crazy to learn.
Yes, and the only thing is, he only told one person, Euphemia, which both them live on another continent. Basically, it's like the same continent, but two different towns or cities. And he put his trust in her. So it's going to be very interesting, because they're going to be on the ship for 3 months.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe more, maybe less. Who knows?
I don't think Victor does anything without it benefiting himself. I don't think he says things, like even the things that he pretends to say accidentally or look kind of foolish while doing, I think he does it all with a certain purpose in mind. Whether it's Clark Kent pretending to be a klutz, or to hide who he really is or something. I think everything that Victor does, he does for a reason. And I think he knew, this is my opinion over the table, behind the roll, I think he knew she would volunteer.
Interesting.
Or at least hoped for it.
And she does come from a guild basically called the Monster Hunters. So that was also interesting. But in my world, because it's all homebrewed, yes, it's the Dampier from 5e, but with my twist. If you look up Dampier's 5e, they have like different hunger. So they can either drink blood or do kind of like raw meats. Of course, cook a little bit, but have that drip. There's dreams. There's even tapping into spinal fluid, I think, which I thought that was kind of weird. I'm like, how do you do that with a straw? I don't know. So that was weird. And I think there's another one, but I can't remember. But But with my world, there's a little twist to it. But we'll see if he goes for it.
Yeah, and one thing that I love about like you and Sin, the way that you've been keeping this under wraps, is that there's also been subtle hints all throughout. Like for example, when he went to buy a cloak, like I don't know if he's a straight day walker or maybe as soon as as long as he's fed, he's fine, or he's afraid that he won't be okay in the sun at some point. But I think that talking about like the cloak and something sturdy for all type of weathers and blah 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 is kind of a cool little detail for that. And then the hanging upside down at the carnival, which I wasn't, I mean at the tent, I wasn't in there, but OOC, that was really cool. So it's just been really interesting, and I can't wait to like try to pick up on some more of those things if Vorin actually, pays enough attention to it. I think it'll be
Sure.
it'll be
Yeah.
fun. But how I forgot to ask if he was a bat. Yeah, you did ask if he was a bat, yeah. Like, what are you, a bat?
That's funny. Yeah.
That's
But
fucking
then
great.
Euphemia, she put something on and she began to walk. So
Yeah, like the thing in a world where magic exists, it's hard to be surprised by many things, So some things can be easily dismissed as magic, magic item, artifact or something,
yeah,
like.
for sure.
So it's hard to be suspicious of anything because anything could easily be explained. But on the other side of that coin, anything could easily be hidden because of magic, like. So I think that's kind of a cool balance.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially in my world, how the veil is very thin, and there's which in episode 4, yeah, you guys experience the ripple, which the ripple can happen anytime. Which basically what it does, the veil kind of ripples, and all of a sudden you can see the Feywild. Now, how long it lasts, it depends. But sometimes people have been told to just hold still, just wait it out, and eventually will disappear. They can even experience the primordial realms, or even the hells. So those are quite interesting to experience if that ever happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's not the last time that this will come into the story, and I feel like there's more to learn about those too, so I'm kind of excited. Another question over the table for DM. I also love the moment where Vorin learned the PTSD. Oh yeah, and how he learned it. Right, that's one of those things. Is like every action has a reaction. How much would you say, like percentage wise, has gone to plan in your, like, as far as the way you plan things, and how much has been improvised, just percentage wise?
Okay, so let me count the 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So let's say 5 episodes, let's say automatic like 100%, right? I would say how my thought process, I can think of something for months, right? Over and over and over. But once I actually play it out, there's times I will change something or might forget something or whatever. So far I'm going to probably have to say my planning 30%. Everything else has been
just
Made
on
up.
the fly.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's a lot more backwards than I thought it would be,
No,
because
yeah.
it doesn't feel like that at all, which is a tip of the hat to you.
Thank you.
Um,
I would say the dream, the party, or the primal thing, of course, the fight for the first episode. Going and talking to the Lorded Lady. Some of that stuff that happened during that time. Visiting Art. And going on the ship. Everything else has been improvised.
nice. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to know.
Oh, thank you. I have the imagination.
So, just to round it off, so that we don't go too far. Try to keep these like around an hour or so.
Mhm.
Episode 5, we've learned that there's a bounty on Celeste's head. The collective is out to get her. Vorin has ensured that the guild, the Thieves Guild, that the local Thieves Guild, is not going to pursue her. That doesn't mean that when they travel, other guilds won't. You know?
Mhm.
I think part of something that we'll learn about like Vorin is that he understands that his local guild doesn't have a whole lot of pull anywhere else, and that's something that he wants to change, but we'll get there, you know. And that's super risky. So seeing that billboard and picking up that paper was like, it was almost like the gods were like, hey, we have your solution. Of course Vorin wouldn't be like, thank the gods, but
Yeah.
he picked up that paper, he kept running, and then he was like, we have to be on that ship. And I'm super excited to know how this goes moving forward.
I would say this. I'm planting that wonderful billboard, and then you passed it. That I had other ideas on how that was going to happen, but of course that didn't happen because that's how dice rolls and how people talk and everything. I really wanted you guys to paint that fence, though. That's never gonna happen.
Aw, the fence. We'll come back in 3 months, fence still unpainted.
Yeah, maybe
What
later.
did you have planned for the fence?
I guess I could say it because it's not gonna be there anymore.
Yeah, I doubt that it's gonna be a thing.
So the fence, this is all OC. If you guys picked it up, it would have been like, I would have had it like anywhere between 10 to 20 gold. And I think Victor would have had a field day with this one. It would have been 100 feet long, 50 feet high, and
What the
it twists
fuck?
up. Yeah. And it twists up like a spiral.
How?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
But you guys never picked it up, so there.
Vorin would have been like, nope, going back home. Can we get this done with magic in any way? Oh my god.
Oh man, it would have been funny. It would have been
That would have
really
been
funny. Yep.
You hear how she's entertaining herself.
Yes, I have been in the past games I've done. Anytime people hear me chuckle or laugh, something's up. Maybe. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, you give yourself away. You don't have a good poker face.
Or do I?
Or do you? Right. But yeah, I think so now we're all on this ship that we're going to be on for 3 months.
Hmm.
Give or take whatever happens. We have no idea what the itinerary is for this journey. We don't know where we're going. We got on this by Vorn pulling a favor from somebody, because otherwise we probably would have never gotten on. And it was the last minute Hail Mary attempt to keep Celeste safe. But now we're on the ship.
Hmm.
Now we're on the ship. None of these people have ever worked on a ship before. I'm sure that they'll
This
be
is
able
so
to
really
pick up.
fun.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be able to pick up certain duties and stuff like that they might be good at,
Mhm.
Like we already know that Spelcy's character is she's a pretty good cook, so who knows, right? Maybe she might be able to do that. But and then Vorn has done a little bit of everything in dockyards, so he might be pretty decent. But what the fuck is Victor gonna do? Except for try to command everyone around the ship and getting told to go fucking clean a piss bucket.
I would say this. Okay, so to explain this wonderful ship, um, it's literally a blue ship, with these beautiful puffy, sails, white sails and stuff. I mentioned that, you know, there's always rumors that people have seen the ship. Um, People try to copy them, which basically, dyeing the ships, and it just looks awful later. It just, with if you think about it, with wind, rain, tsunamis, whatever, it's going to ruin the
Mm-hmm.
ship's look.
Right.
But this is always pristine, beautiful, like nothing has touched it. And um, so it has says that this is a merchant ship. Pirates fear the ship, and what they have noticed, they have only seen a few people in the ship. Of course, they hired the group and then 4 other people. And going into the ship, which the quartermaster named Keys has basically introduced their rooms, and it's like one of those things. The doors are like 1 feet separate, but when they go inside, it's a nice sized room with a tub and whatever else you guys need in a room. And
Yeah.
so there's going to be questions and there might be answers, but as of right now, they are gathered on top of the dock and or not the deck of the ship, and the quartermaster is going to be talking to them. That will happen next episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it's funny because for the size of this ship, you would imagine a heavy, heavy crew.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's something that we didn't even ask. We were so concerned about just getting on this damn ship
Mm-hmm.
that I think not very many of us know what we're getting into. But I think that's going to be part of the fun.
Yes, and part of it's also like when Keys said, "Oh, you forgot to mention, nobody steals from each other." And if if there is, or if they find out, then there'll be consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And also don't start fights, Um, and then I think, and this is from Celeste's point of view, this is the first time that she actually put the egg away, her, the thing that she's been protecting, and maybe even taking a breath for the first time in a long time. Hearing that promise. Is she going to keep that security, that promise? Who knows? But right now, she hasn't really slept, so she might be delusional
Yeah.
at the moment. But
It's kind of wild.
Oh, you cut out.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
I said, yeah, it's kind of wild, but
Hmm.
yeah. So that's pretty much where we're at, guys. I think we did kind of try to like rush through episode 1 through 5, give you guys kind of just some notes of what happened here and there. It's obviously a lot more detailed with some of the dialogues that happened, some of the, you know, meetings that we had with like the Lord and Lady or some of the other NPCs that Light has.
Hmm.
It's been very nice. So please, if you're up to date, catch us on Sunday evenings, 6:30 p.m. EST for like the full sessions. But we will continue to do these every week, and we'll be able to kind of talk more in depth about each episode because now we'll be doing per episode. So we'll be able to get a bit more into it. But yeah, Light, thank you for hanging out and for stopping by. And also, I did mention that we're gonna have different people on the show just to learn about them, the role player and their characters, and also ask them a few questions as well. So
Oh, for sure.
we hope that you guys join us. Light, is there anything else that you want to say before we conclude?
Um, well, it's been fun doing this every Sunday, and it makes me happy to hear that people are enjoying it and everything. And we'll see what happens next episode. Victor might get kicked off. He keeps calling the ship a pirate ship, so we'll see.
Oh my god. So embarrassing.
What was it he wanted? Lord or Pirate Lord?
Pirate
Victor?
Lord. Oh my god.
Oh
What are we
boy.
gonna do with that guy?
I don't know.
Well, anyways, thank you guys for hanging out and for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.
Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.